eat carrots and lettuce, right? Hi everybody, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. My name is Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead, and today I'm going to be continuing our series about how to raise meat rabbits. And today's topic is all about nutrition and what to feed your meat rabbits. Now I have decided to film this part of our video next to a litter of rabbits that is due to be butchered tomorrow. I wanted you to have an opportunity while I'm talking just to see kind of the size of the rabbits at 11 weeks. We butcher at 11 weeks. When we are only feeding rabbit pellets and don't have them on the ground here to forage, we can butcher a little bit earlier, but they tend to grow just a 1 week. They need to grow 1 week longer when we have them in the rabbit tractors on pasture. So I want to start out with just telling you a little bit about what we feed our rabbits. Now, we don't have all the answers. We are not experts. I just want to share with you what works for us, and hopefully it'll work for you. And if not, I'm sure you will develop the perfect plan for your homestead and your needs. So the primary food that we feed our rabbits from as early as they can start eating whole food until their butchering day is rabbit pellets. Rabbit pellets have been designed to be a complete meal for the rabbit. They meet all of the nutritional needs, all of the fiber, all of the protein, and so really your rabbits could survive just 100% on rabbit pellets. We free feed our rabbits with rabbit pellets. So when they're hungry, if they choose to eat the rabbit pellets, even if there's other things available to them, they can have as much of that as they want to. The other thing that we feed them on a regular basis is hay, some kind of hay. Hay is good for them. It's a good source of dry fiber for them, which is very important to their digestive tract. If you read a lot about rabbits, you'll find out that the best kind of hay for rabbits in particular is called Timothy hay. You can find Timothy hay at big box stores, pet stores, and things like that. It's harder to find, though, in a feed store environment. I'll tell you that on our homestead, we do not feed Timothy hay. We can only find it at Walmart, and the prices don't work with our budget. But on our homestead, I'm feeding goats, and our goats eat a couple different kinds of hay. So really, we provide our rabbits with really whatever hay we have. I am feeding brome hay and a grass hay to our goats, and so when we give hay to the rabbits, that's what we give them. They seem to really enjoy it, and there aren't any kind of deficiencies or anything. So Timothy is probably the best. We can't get that, so we just do the best that we can and give them what we have. So pellets and hay, and then the third thing that we are giving our rabbits to eat is fresh forage. We have our rabbits on pasture or in the front yard or wherever there is fresh plant matter, and we move them every day to a new spot. We find that this is a very natural process for the rabbits. They seem really happy when we raise them like this. And it actually brings down their consumption of rabbit pellets about 50%. And that's a cost saving for us. It allows us to raise our own food for a much cheaper price. And when we sell these to customers at the farmer's market or, right off the farm, then, the profit is increased for our family and for our business. Now I want to tell you a little bit about rabbits' eating patterns and eating habits and kind of why that's important. So rabbits generally feed, they kind of gorge themselves twice a day. They will really eat a lot and kind of gorge themselves at dawn or around dawn, first thing in the morning, and right before it gets dark at dusk. It's a natural pattern for rabbits. That's how they feed in the wild. I'm sure that that is a time where they feel the safest. It's light enough that they can eat, but dark enough that they're not so seen and not as easily seen and found by predators. So keep that in mind when you are figuring out when the best time is to move your rabbit tractors. I move my rabbit tractors every morning. First thing when we go out and do chores and feed the other animals, I move them to a new spot so that their natural instinct in the morning is to fill up on the things that are probably most natural to them. I could argue the most nutritious for them and the most cost-effective for us. So they gorge themselves on our free food and the fresh food. Sometimes when the foliage is really rich and they're having such a great time, I will actually move them twice a day. Now, as an aside, I'm going to throw in here also that it is important when you have rabbits in a rabbit tractor to move them every single day. Not just to give them more to eat, not just to save your pocketbook, but also to keep them in a continuously clean environment. Rabbits that are in the same spot for many, many days will start consuming the grass and the foliage that they have gone to the bathroom on. And that's not healthy for them, and they can end up getting diarrhea, they can get parasites, they can get coccidiosis. And so that is a dangerous situation for them, and so it's important if you are making the choice to raise them on the ground that you move them every single day for their health. Now, I want to introduce you to a book that I refer to all of the time. I have read it cover to cover. I've had it for several years, and I often refer back to it when I have questions. The book is called Beyond the Pellet, Feeding Rabbits Naturally. And the author, there are two authors, Boyd Craven Jr. and Rick Warden. These guys have been developing ways to raise rabbits without the rabbit pellet. I choose not to eliminate pellets altogether for a couple of reasons. I've done a couple. I've looked into this. I've looked into scientific research. I've looked into internet research and what other people are doing. And a lot of people have found that unless you're really, really active and really trying to meet every single part of the nutritional needs of a rabbit, they will not reproduce well, and they will not produce enough milk to raise their young. Now, once they're weaned, there is definitely the option and possibility for you to raise meat rabbits without any rabbit pellets, but that responsibility then becomes 100% on you as the farmer, as the homesteader, as the rabbit raiser to provide every one of their nutritional needs, and that can become quite labor intensive and time intensive. So for those reasons, we choose to allow our rabbits to eat as many rabbit pellets as they want and as much of the natural forage as they can, and it really provides a healthy situation for our rabbits. So what about our breeders? Our breeders we raise off the ground. We raise them in our metal barn, in a three-sided room where one of the walls is completely open to the outside, so they get great ventilation, circulation, but they're completely off the ground, and they're dependent 100% on us for their food. So we do give them free feed them rabbit pellets, so as much as they need, as much as they want for that, but then every single day we provide them with fresh cut forage, pasture, branches, leaves, and things from around our homestead so that they too have access to fresh forage. They love it. and it gives them the opportunity too to have a more natural diet. And it also gives their babies the opportunity to naturally start incorporating that into their diet. And that's important because if you take rabbits that have never had fresh leafy greens before, fresh pasture, fresh leaves, fresh branches, if you take them from just rabbit pellets and put them in an environment with all of this fresh leafy greens, they very well could get sick with diarrhea, which then can cause dehydration, and then they could easily die. So that is actually how we introduce our baby bunnies to the fresh grass and the fresh foliage. We just keep giving it to the mom every day, and as they get old enough to jump out of the nesting box, they nibble on it here and there. They jump into the feeders and nibble on the pellets here and there, so their digestive system gets used to that gradually. So when we take them from mom at 5 weeks, when we wean them and put them in the rabbit tractors, and they have complete free reign to whatever they want, they can do that without the risk of becoming sick. Okay, so what about in the winter? The leaves fall, the grass dies back, there could even be snow on the ground. What are you going to do for fresh forage then? Well, to be honest with you, in the winter, we just keep going with the rabbit pellets and hay. And if it is a mild winter and there are still things that have, fresh leaves, fresh branches, those kinds of things, then we give those to our rabbits, and they're pretty happy. Now, in the book that I was talking to you about, Beyond the Pellet, there are a couple options that could help through the winter. They talk a lot about sprouting grains, sprouting wheat. Sprouted grains are so nutritious. They're nutritious for us, they're nutritious for our animals, and that is an option during the winter to give your meat rabbits extra nutrition. You could take that same exact process a little bit further and allow those sprouted grains to continue growing for 3 or 4 days until they reach about 4 or 5 inches worth of their leaves. That's called fodder. And then you can feed those to your rabbits, and then they'll have fresh, foliage throughout the winter. I'll tell you that I don't do that, and mainly because it's pretty time intensive. It's pretty labor intensive for us, and we are busy people and have a lot of things to do. And our rabbits do great on rabbit pellets and hay throughout the winter. Now, a couple other things actually that are pretty interesting about this book. They really do also address the homesteader that's kind of more an urban homesteader, and what you can grow on your homestead to supplement your rabbit's diet. They suggest that you turn your lawn into kind of a fresh hay field by replacing your grass seed and with carrot seed, beet seeds, clover, and basically create like a field in your backyard instead of just grass. I think that's a great idea. They suggest growing specific gardens just for your rabbits of different, leafy veggies and beets and carrots and all those kinds of things. And I think that's a great idea too. This is a wealth of information in this book. I'm going to put a link down below so that you guys have an opportunity to check it out on Amazon and maybe order it. I highly, highly recommend this. Another thing that is in here, or several things, is there are multiple lists in here of lists and lists of plants that your rabbits can eat. It was awesome for me to find out that rabbits can eat trumpet vine. Trumpet vine was planted here many years ago, probably 40 years ago, and it is just growing everywhere. It's a nuisance, and it pops up everywhere. And so I am very glad that I can just cut it down and I can pull it out of the garden and feed it right to my rabbits, and they love it. There are lots of other things in this book that grow all over your yard that you probably wouldn't even think of to cut and harvest for your rabbits, so it's a great resource. They also give a number of herbs and things that you can grow within a rabbit garden or your garden at home that you can feed your rabbits for extra nutrition and things like that. So I thought that you guys would appreciate knowing that. So you guys, I think that's it as far as nutrition and feeding your rabbits goes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I know about feeding your rabbits that I should remember to tell you, and nothing's coming to mind. So if you have any questions, if I've forgotten something, or if you have been wondering something, go ahead and leave that in the comments and I'll be sure to respond to you. I sure like hearing from you guys. I love the interaction that we received from this series and all of our videos. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and the notification button so that when we put out new videos, you'll know right away and won't miss one. We are putting out 5 videos every week. And so you guys, I just want to let you know how much I've enjoyed doing this series, and I hope that you've learned a ton. Join me next time, and until then, you guys take care, okay? And God bless.
Hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by the homestead today. We do truly appreciate every one of you for wanting to be part of our lives. We're now going to be putting out 5 new videos every week, Monday through Friday, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to check out the videos over here on the side. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time back on the homestead. God bless.